At an IDF base in central Israel, the international media was invited to see firsthand the stark evidence, a reminder of why the IDF began its current conflict against Hamas in Gaza. We started the tour with the pickup trucks that you could see behind me, which were used by Hamas terrorists in southern Israeli communities, followed by a tour with Lieutenant Colonel Idan Sharon Kettler, who showed us as much evidence as possible, just a taste of what was brought in from Gaza into southern Israeli communities, military equipment used against civilians.
What we can see here is a thermobaric charge. This, once explodes, it creates a thermobaric explosion which raises the temperature to 3,000 degrees Celsius inside a closed room. We saw many of those being used inside houses, inside safe rooms, to burn families alive that went into their own safe room, in their own house, to protect themselves. The terrorists opened the doors, threw one of these inside to incinerate everything that was in the room and collapse the walls of the room on the families.
So here we have something that is specifically Insidious. It's a Gaza-made RPG-7 with an additional thermobaric charge. The point is that the initial charge pierces a wall or a car or another soft target. And then the second piece is a thermobaric charge, which again, as we've seen with the thermobaric grenade, rises to 3,000 degrees centigrade inside a given space. We've seen it used on October 7th against civilian homes, in houses, to pierce concrete walls and then burn anything inside. Or at the Nova Festival, for example, it was used against civilian cars. And you could see the evidence of that where the outside of the car was intact and the inside was burnt to a crisp.
This is an anti-tank charge that is efficient in after 10 to 20 meters. It should hurt a tank and penetrate its armor. We've seen those used inside houses to breach the safe room doors. We gathered tens and dozens of those from inside Israeli territories. There are many more of those that they plan to use in our cities and inside houses.
In a testament to the ingenuity of Hamas, but also the specificity, the crude but specific and effective tools that were used on October 7th. Here we have an explosive frame. It's one of many that were recovered from Gaza. The idea is that it is filled with an explosive, wrapped around one of the fence posts, and set off with one of the explosive charges. Again, we've seen the explosive charges. They were fitted to any and every one of the different weapons that we've seen here, the explosive weapons that were brought in. And this, again, is to wrap around a fence post and explode that. In other cases, there was the larger explosive frame. Again, we can see the same space for the explosive charge to set off. This was to create a door frame, so to speak, within the security fence around Gaza, and allow terrorists to enter Israel.
This amount of equipment cannot be used by the people that we've seen, by the terrorists that arrived into Israel in one day. This was meant to last a lot longer, to reach cities, to reach different kibbutzes, to attack many civilian communities around Israel for a long time.
Now here, there is a number of dual warhead rockets. These, as you can see, were made in Iran. These are beyond the capabilities of Hamas, and so somehow they are smuggled in.
There is a general comment about Gaza being an open-air prison. This doesn't look like equipment that you can find in a prison. This is equipment that you can find in a state. This is organized smuggling into the territory of Gaza. And as you said, this comes from many different countries in the world. There is a lot of money put into this equipment. Somebody is funding it, somebody is planning it for a long time, and we can see the result. The result is a massacre of civilians. I've shown you rice bags, for example, that are parts of humanitarian aid. This is food that should have reached the Gazan population, but instead, this terror organization is smuggling ammunition inside food packs. We've seen medical equipment that should have come or should have arrived at a hospital for the benefit of the population in Gaza, but instead it is being held by the terrorist organization in bags used to patch the terrorists up so they can continue fighting with us.
Reporting from Central Israel, I'm Aaron Porras for The Media Line.